All right, let's talk air cooling flow for a moment. So in this case, the GPU goes into the second slot from the top and effectively separates a whole area underneath it into a kind of a separate compartment because it's fairly long and it's fairly wide, and it will block all the airflow between the two parts of the case. Now for the GPU, the only intake fan is going to be located here, right next to the hard drive. And looking at how thick the hard drive is and where the third slot from the top is located, it's even possible that the GPU will clash with the hard drive, but I hope this will not be the case. I'm hoping to place a 2.5 centimeter, 120 millimeter fan down here for better airflow in these limited conditions. Then the air that enters from the bottom will hopefully be mixed up by the two fans of the GPU and will probably just randomly escape through the holes on the back, probably also through the holes on the front. I will have two SSDs mounted here, so there will not be that many holes here, and probably a little bit through these holes on the back. And that's essentially it for the bottom compartment. And admittedly, it's going to have probably rather poor thermals, but we are going to see about that. Now for the CPU location and the CPU cooler, which is going to be somewhere here, there's a much better solution in place. So let's attach the side mounting bracket. All right. So here the idea is to place a slim intake fan roughly here, and the idea being that the cold air will be pushed right into the intake of the CPU cooler, which will then move air across the heatsink all the way to the backside, and there will be probably a slim or a low RPM 2.5 centimeter fan at the back for exhaust. So that means I'm going to have one intake at the bottom, one intake on the side, one exhaust on the back side. Now there's also the top panel, which theoretically offers mounting space for up to two fans. However, above the power supply unit, there's really space just for a slim fan, so 15 millimeter thick. And I think it's not really necessary. So the power supply for this case is going to be much more powerful than necessary. It will probably be almost idling most of the time. And even if it does spin up the fan, it should be able to cool itself down quite nicely. Now I could have placed a fan up here as well, and obviously an exhaust fan, but that doesn't seem to make much sense in terms of airflow, because if I'm pushing air in here and the CPU cooler then pushes it all the way back, then adding one extra fan at the top would actually kind of disrupt this airflow. So I will probably leave the top part as the passive air exhaust for the hopefully a positive pressure system that will be built in here. I will probably need a slim fan on the side bracket because of the PSU, but maybe I can also fit like a full thickness 2.5 centimeter fan up here. So yeah, all of this had been not too carefully but somewhat planned, and I guess now I have to proceed with the plan.